Hello Sumit, welcome back to my channel. So in this video, we'll be learning how to make a welt pocket with a flap. If this is what you want to know how to make, let's get started. So the first thing you need to do is to determine where you want the wet pocket to be. In this case, I want it below my dart leg because of the design I'm working with. So I'm just going to place it exactly where I want it. So the next thing now is to measure the pieces of fabric. This pieces of fabric is 2 inches wide, then it is 6 inches long, right? But I will advise you make yours 4 inches wide because I went ahead to change it. By the time I finished sewing it and I saw that it was too the width wasn't enough. So what you want to do, even if you are using the one that is 4 inches wide, measure 1 inch in between the fabric, measure 1 inch, then determine the length of the wet pocket. In this one I'm using 4 inches, so I measured 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right away. So it is leaving me with the measurement I have in the center. The 1 inch measurement in the center now is now 4 inches for the wet pocket. So you can see what I'm doing. So let's say this piece we are working on is piece 1. So it is meant to be 4 inches wide, 6 inches long. Now the length depends on how long you want your wet pocket to be. So the next thing now is to go ahead and pin the fabric down to the main dress or skirt you're working on. But you have to confirm with your measuring tape to make sure that the placement is equal and it is straight, okay? So I'll just go ahead and pin it down. Then going straight to the sewing machine, you see the 1 inch I marked on. I'm going to sew it from one end to another. So you first tighten the beginning, then when you finish sewing that 1 inch I marked, you tighten it again, then you pull it up, you sew on the other side. You know you're going to sew on the upper part and on the lower part. So I'm just going to do that quickly. So this is me also running a straight stitch on the lower part. Now after sewing the lower part also, the next thing we're going to do now is to notch it. So now that we're done sewing it, the next thing now, get the mid part of the 1 inch, right? Then notch it. Then just open it up. You open both the wet pocket piece and the main fabric together. Then when you get to the edge, just create a V shape. Make sure that the V shape is not exceeding the straight line you've made, okay? Make sure it is not exceeding the straight line that we just stitched, okay? So you can see how I'm doing it, watch how I am doing it, and make sure you do it the same. So let's say in a case where you don't want your wet pocket opening to be as wide as mine, you make sure that the part you're sewing now, you know we sew 1 inch. This part we are cutting open is 1 inch in total. Make sure yours is ½ inch, so that by the time you slit it open, it's going to be quarter of an inch, quarter of an inch. So I went ahead to add a bigger fabric. I had to loosen that one because it is too small because of the method I'm using to create the wet pocket, like I said from the beginning. So make sure that yours is 4 inches wide, which is what I've gone ahead to do. Then in this particular part, the opening I've already created with the other part that the other piece I sew to it. I'm using it to create an opening because you know the opening already affected the main dress, okay? So I'm using it to create an opening for the new wet pocket piece, okay? So the process is the same thing. The only thing is that this pocket piece is bigger than the one I was working with from the beginning. So make sure that yours is 4 inches wide. Then the length should be how long you want the wet pocket to be. So after notching it that way, the next thing you have to do now is to pull it over. So we're going to flip the pocket piece now. We're going to turn it into the wrong side of the fabric. Then we'll go ahead and iron very well. So we're going to iron the both pockets, and this part I'll have to fast forward it. So it's just me pushing the wet pocket to the pocket piece to the wrong side. Then I'll press it down smoothly. I'll repeat the same thing for the other side also. So after ironing it smoothly on the wrong side, I will flip it to the right side and also give it a nice press. So after ironing it properly, flip it to the wrong side, okay? So you see this wet pocket piece, fold it. This is why we made it 4 inches, okay? Fold it. You make sure that you're folding about 0.5 inches upwards to cover the opening we've created. So if the opening you created is not up to 1 inch, this wet pocket opening is not up to 1 inch, you fold your piece. You make sure that it is covering half of it. Then go ahead and iron it, okay? Go ahead and fold the other side. After ironing it down very well, go ahead and fold the other side. So by like this, we are making sure that the wet pocket opening is fully covered, okay? So you go ahead and iron it down also. So I will do that for both sides, then we can go to the next step. So flipping it to the right side, this is what we have. You can see that the pockets opening, they are already closed in this part. So I went ahead to give it a good press again, because you really have to iron very well to have a neat work done. So now that we've done this part, we have to go ahead now. You see the cutting we did, it gave us this triangle cutting, so we are going to press it down at the side, okay? So you can see what I'm doing, right? I'm just going to sew that place down, like we're closing the sides of the wet pocket already. Do you get? So I'm going to repeat it for the 4 edges of the 2 wet pockets. So I'll do that. We'll go to the next level. So you can see what I'm doing, right? So it's same thing you go ahead to do. So after sewing the 4 edges of the pockets, right, the next thing we'll be doing now is to attach the pocket flap. I have the pieces cut out for the pocket flap. It is 6 inches long, then the width is about 4.5. So I will sew a quarter at the edge, the both edge. I'm just going to sew a quarter, pull it to the right side, then I'll go ahead and press it properly, then we attach it to the wet pocket. So here now, I've gone ahead to attach the other wet pocket to the other side. So we're going to use that as a guide, right? So now this is the pocket flap. You can see me push inside the wet pocket opening. So you're going to pull it to the wrong side, but you have to go ahead and cross check with your measuring tape to make sure that they are equal, so that at the end of the day, one is no longer than the other, okay? So you can see me measuring it. So after measuring it, I'm just going to pull it to make sure that it is equally placed. So after arranging it properly, when you check on the inside, this is what you have, right? That is the pocket flap right there. So what we are going to do now is to sew it, right? So now we're going to take it to the machine, then we sew on that same line we use in attaching the pocket piece. Make sure that you don't go inside, if not your pockets will pack, okay? Make sure you're sewing on the same line you've sewn on before. So like this now, we've attached the pocket flap to the wet pocket, and this is what we have, right? The next thing we're going to do now, this is what the inside looks like. The next thing we're going to do now is to attach the pocket bag, which is the last phase of this video. So the next thing now is to grab my pocket bag, but you should take note of the placement, okay? So you see the pocket bag is 7 inches long, because I don't want it very long. So you see the placement. I am placing it on the lower part of the wet pocket, okay? I'm starting the placement of the pocket bag from the lower part of the wet pocket. Then I'm just going to sew a straight stitch, okay? So I'm just going to press it down, then we will now go ahead and sew the upper parts. And after that, now that we've sewn the other side together, you're just going to fold it up this way, then you attach it to the upper part of the wet pocket. So I'm just going to run a straight stitch. Don't forget that all the stitches you're running them on top the stitches you've used to attaching the pocket fly piece, the pocket fly flap. It is same stitch you're running on, please, so that your work can be neat. Okay, so after sewing this other part also, we are going to join the sides of the pocket. Okay, so this is what we have. Can you see? You can see that the pocket is facing the down part of the dress, which is how it is meant to be. The other pocket you're seeing at the other side was wrongly faced, which is why I am laying emphasis on the placement of the pocket bag. So I'm going to sew it side by side, and I'll be taking us through the process also. So after sewing both sides of the pocket bag, this is what we have. You can see how neatly done it is. I'll go ahead and correct the other pocket bag for the other side of the dress, and we are completely done with the video. If you find the video helpful, give me a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe to see more of my video. Thank you for watching. Bye.